3 men were killed when a car exploded in Pennsylvania's third largest city Saturday night, drawing a massive response from local and federal law enforcement to what was dubbed a criminal incident. Police said the incident appeared to be isolated and that there was no ongoing danger to the public, although victims had not yet been identified. Officials said that the perpetrators appeared to be among those killed in the explosion. The Prime Minister of Macedonia said that if there is a majority from those who voted in the referendum on changing the country's name, then the future is clear. Prime Minister Zoran Zaev spoke after polls closed in Sunday's vote. The referendum asked voters whether they backed a deal with Greece that would change their nation's name to North Macedonia to pave the way for NATO membership. Macedonia's Prime Minister pledged to press on with a vote in Parliament to change the country's name, although his coalition acknowledged a referendum appeared to have failed to secure the 50% turnout needed to make it legally valid. With the official turnout tally stuck at 34% half an hour before polls closed, the opposition said the low turnout proved that Macedonians had rejected the name change. Opponents of the change had urged followers not to vote rather than vote no. French President Emmanuel Macron criticized the delays in the repairs to Saint Martin a year after Hurricane Irma tore through the French Caribbean island. Macron demanded an acceleration of renovation or reconstruction of social housing, also making renovating schools a priority. Hurricane Irma struck the French islands of Saint Martin and Saint Barthélemy on September 5 to 6 last year, killing 11 people and destroying or seriously damaging 1 in 5 of the buildings on the island. A total of 106 immigrants arrived safely in the port town of Motril in southern Spain after 276 people were rescued while attempting to cross the Mediterranean Sea. The immigrants were found drifting on 5 small boats through the waters of the Alboran Sea, the westernmost portion of the Mediterranean, with the Spanish Maritime Safety Agency launching a rescue operation to remove them from danger. Thousands of women in Bolivia's capital, La Paz, took to the streets to take part in a run and demonstration against gender-based violence. The demonstration is part of a female movement in Bolivia called My First Love, where women gathered in San Francisco Square to dance and take part in a symbolic race. Many young women were accompanied by relatives to show they can move away from gender-based violence before it costs them their lives. According to the United Nations, in Bolivia, 8 out of 10 women have suffered from some kind of sexual aggression. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has sent South Korean President Moon Jae-in in a pair of white North Korean Pungsan dogs as a gift. The latest sign of a dramatic thaw in relations between the Korean rivals. The dogs passed through the heavily fortified demilitarized zone and the truce village of Panmunjom into South Korea. Moon and Kim held their third meeting this year in the North Korean capital of Pyongyang in mid-September. Thousands of revelers are dancing and singing in Brazil's second biggest city to celebrate Rio de Janeiro's 23rd Gay Pride Parade. Revelers of all ages were seen waving rainbow flags and parading along Rio's famed Copacabana beach. The parade is being held 1 week before Brazil's presidential elections. Demonstrators said that the parade will help encourage people to vote for candidates who support gay and human rights. Thousands of supporters of ring-wing presidential frontrunner Jair Bolsonaro take to Sao Paulo's iconic Paulista Avenue to support their candidate a day after nationwide protest against his candidacy. Bolsonaro is currently leading polls ahead of the vote, but if no one candidate wins the majority of votes, the race heads to a second round, which polls show him losing. The Indian Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change started a green scale development program for e-waste management and environmental information system. Through such initiatives, the government aims to reduce health and environment hazards. E-waste, which is discarded electrical or electronic devices, is refused, recycled and even is resold. A mud car rally was organized in central India's Bhopal city, which offered a treat for the adrenaline junkies of the area. About 60 participants, including women, raced their vehicles through a muddy terrain laced with dirt, quicksand and various other obstacles. For the rally, the event showcased a thrilling combination of speed, timing and adventure to the hundreds of spectators present in the rally. The death toll from an earthquake and tsunami in Indonesia has soared to 832 people dead, with authorities fearing it will only climb as rescuers struggle to reach communities cut off from communications and help. Officials said that the evacuation process faced many obstacles and that the death toll will rise further. Palu has registered the maximum deaths, with hundreds being buried in mass graves. Typhoon TRAMI makes landfall in West Japan and is currently moving at 50 kilometers per hour towards northeast. According to Met Department, various regions across Japan are expecting heavy rain till Monday afternoon under TRAMI's effect. A Typhoon TRAMI has already sparked travel disruptions in the world's third biggest economy, with bullet train services in the west of Japan suspended and almost 1,000 flights cancelled due to the closure of a key airport hub. A flag-raising ceremony was held at the Tiananmen Square in Beijing to mark the 69th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. After 8 trumpet soldiers sounding their clarions, the national flag was escorted into the square by 96 members from the Chinese People's Liberation Army Guard of Honor. People from all over the country gathered at the square singing the Chinese national anthem while watching the national flag being raised. The Embassy of Poland in India organized a commemorative event in Gujarat's Jamnagar for the refugee children who had fled their homes to escape the Soviet invasion of Poland during the Second World War. Over 1,000 Polish children were given refuge by Indian King in 1942 and stayed in the camp until they returned to Poland in 1946 after the end of the war. More than 200 classic cars and motorbikes were on display at the foot of the Champs-Élysées in Paris to celebrate the 120th anniversary of the city's motor show. Mostly French vehicles span more than 100 years of history, from a 1900 model by pioneering manufacturer Hutto to a 2017 Citroën motorcycle encased in chrome. Also featured was a 1920s fire engine manned by a modern-day firefighter wearing a vintage uniform. An orphaned elephant named Moyo, who was adopted by a nursery, becomes a wildlife protection ambassador in Harare, the capital city of Zimbabwe, where elephant protection has attracted a lot of attention. Fighting elephant poaching has been an uphill battle in Africa, with the elephant population virtually wiped out in West Africa. Poachers are turning to Eastern African countries. One major consequence is the occurrence of elephant orphans every year. Hundreds of young elephants are orphaned across the African continent who rarely have a chance of survival in the wild. Pet owners who took their pets to St. Francis in Lima on Sunday for blessings ahead of the celebrations of patron saint who is believed to protect animals. A small crowd gathered outside the Catholic Church's steps to listen to a sermon and have their pets sprinkled with holy water by a Franciscan priest. Locals believe that having their pets blessed will keep them in good health. Britain's Prince William played football with local youths during a visit to Kenya. The Duke of Cambridge, who handed out football jerseys from the British football club he supports, Aston Villa, missed 3 goals during a friendly kickabout before putting the ball in the back of the net. The Prince, who is visiting in his role as the Colonel General of the Irish Guards, joined over 100 soldiers for military drills and inquired on the progress of their training for active duty.